Oh, hello everybody, welcome to the Sunday service, and I am joined tonight by Mr. Ian Hartup because tonight is a Sunday car service. How exciting, Ian. We can do some updates on things we've been working on.
We can talk about enormous models that seem to have taken over my entire workshop.
Yep. And a box of resin goodies that turned up yesterday. And yeah, so we'll talk about that later on in the show. How you doing?
I'm okay. I've been the heat really got to me at the beginning of the week. I had a couple of rough days, but it's a little cooler. It's just the humidity at the minute. I've just checked, and my thingy says it's 99% humidity, but the sun's out.
And sun here. It's you know what? It's actually gone very overcast outside, and it's gone surprisingly dark for 7:30. I know the nights have started drawing in now, but I wasn't expecting them to draw in that quickly.
Not in 48 hours.
No, exactly. So I went to the model show in Weston-super-Mare today at the Helicopter Museum, the North Somerset IPMS model show. Very good. I'll try and bring up the photographs at some stage. Usually they have it in the hall, dotted amongst all the exhibits.
Yeah.
But no, this is in one of the new hangars they've got. One of the new, so it had its own space, and
like an exhibition centre kind of affair.
Yeah, very good, very good. So shall we leap on with the? Well, let's have a quick look at the schedule that I typed up. We will start off with an update on your big Lancia Stratos.
Okay, let's do this then. Okay. So this is what I'm building. This is the Italeri 112 Lancia Stratos. Painting a decal guide. I'm going to come back to that in a second. That's where we are with it right now. This is the chassis. As you can tell, it's a little dusty actually, which I'm a bit disappointed by. There's a lot of faffing around gone into this to get to this stage. But yeah, I tell you what, I've done the very best I can to make that look like a Stratos. There are a great deal of positives to say about the kit, but there are an equal amount of negatives. But I'm very pleased with where I am with it. It picks up dust like a hoover, which is really frustrating. Little things like the spare wheel fits onto this little spigot, which sits down in there, which is on part of the chassis frame. That's where it lives, and that's all the instructions would have you do. However, on the chrome-ish sprue, there is a knurled sort of about yay big doodah.
Yeah.
No, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, what's that for? And I scoured the instructions, and the only thing I can assume it is to go on there. The hole on it, in the back of it, fits the end of that spigot perfectly. It's not mentioned anywhere in the instructions, and that little snippet there kind of sums up the kit.
I mean, that's cards on the table, Ian, is I absolutely adore Italeri. They are one of my favorite kit manufacturers. But sometimes that's in spite of them, because they can just be so I don't want to use the word sloppy, but a little bit inattentive when it comes to their instructions. You've got to be on your guard, and you've really got to, double check. To be honest with you, I think to some extent it makes you a slightly sharper modeler because you are constantly questioning things, but it's frustrating. I love them dearly as a manufacturer. I'm not just saying that because I'm wearing my Fieri shirt today. That's just for instance. But I absolutely adore their stuff. But yeah, I know where you're coming from.
I give you so what I've chosen to do with it is to treat bits as kits in their own right. Each part as a kit of its own right. So the chassis, which is gloss black, as you can tell. They don't give you any painting instructions for that at all. It's just molded in black plastic. Yeah. Did a bit of research, found out it was gloss black, worked out that I could assemble it in the vast majority of it ahead of everything else. Clean up all it was covered in sink marks and ejector pins and things.
Mm-hmm.
Used black super glue for that, got it all level. Got a couple of coats of Mr. Surface, a black primer, a couple of coats of Tamiya LP1 black, and then I've been introducing little areas of wear and stuff onto it, and then I've started building up the detail around it. Now the good thing with this is you can actually turn it upside down. I need to take the wheel out first, and you can prop it upside down quite neatly. So like these splash plates, they're beautiful. They're photo etched. Folding instructions are there. They're on the right spaces. It's just little things like that. There's some beautiful photo etched grills in here. To be honest, you'll see none of it. But
I was just going to say.
But the suspension works. The shockers all work. That was an engineering challenge in its own right. The exhausts are beautiful. But little things like there's no positive alignment for where the seats go on the seat rail. So initially I fitted them too far forward, which meant that there were various other things that knocked onto. I worked out they should go further back. I also worked out that the instructions on how to put the seat belts on were wrong. They had them coming on the outside of the headrest uprights. They should be inside.
Mm-hmm.
So dismantle the seat belt setup and reassemble it. Little things like that. This airbox on the real car is almost a translucent orange fiberglass. It's molded in white. Realistically, they could have put it on the clear sprue, and it would have been infinitely easier to deal with because you could use clear yellows and things to it. Instead, there's about 5 layers of paint on that, and then some washes and stuff to get that fiberglass effect. The funny thing is, the exhaust trumpet, so the intake trumpets are inside that, and you cannot see them, which is just as well because it was short shot. There was only 5 instead of 6. So little things.
Does that make you wonder whether it was meant to be molded in clear, but it just never did?
I think if anybody who'd seen the reference photographs, which I've had, and I think I've shown you online, would know the best thing to do would be to mold that in clear. But you don't know what they were working from, and there are lots and lots of conflicting images of these cars. It doesn't help that Lancia's, this is my understanding, and this has come out of a conversation with a couple of Italian guys I've been talking to. Lancia Competition, the early cars, the 73, 74, 75, 76 cars, were re-engineered. And there seems to be like a split between, they were re-engineered to the later standard, because this is a 77 HF.
Mm-hmm.
Or they were re-engineered, put my teeth in, I'll try again, re-engineered into HF, into Stradale standard, the road car standard. Because when you look at the register, and this was pointed out to me by someone, by an Italian guy, there's a register of the cars. There are more existing Stradale cars than there were built. according to the factory.
Right.
So the Lancia rally team, in the great scheme of things, wasn't particularly rich in this period. They'd come up with some great cars. I mean, this, and then the later the things like the Lancia Delta and Integrale, the 037 and stuff like that. But they weren't massively rich, so they were rebuilding older cars to road standard to sell as road cars to fund the rally effort and things like that. So there was a lot of, it's that era, isn't it? It's mid to late 70s Italy where things were a little, tight at times. Frugal, yeah. So you've got to be very understanding of it. I think if you lined 20 of these up in a row, so I'm spotting dust all over this, hence the dust. If you line 20 of these cars up, I think you'd possibly find that no two were the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Italeri have kind of gone for the perm one from however many approach. And it's right. I mean, there's an issue with the instrument panel, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, where they've got a number of reference photographs and they are all different. The basic structure's the same and the dials and stuff are in the same location, but there's bits that are different. Like the Magitrip thing for the rally, there's a lot of them with two sets of numbers. The kit one only depicts one set of numbers. The brake balance control, I think it is in the middle of the dashboard, is a knob in this one. It's a lever in a lot of cars. So there's changes from car to car. So I can't criticize the kit as being poorly researched, and I won't. I just think that it's the best they could get from what they had. What I do think is that it feels rushed, and my point of comparison to that is this. This is their Bugatti, which is a couple of years older and which I'm building at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
From a build quality, from a construction quality point of view, it's, well, you can see it's head and shoulders ahead of the Stratos, but it's an old product.
I'm just going to bring up the box art, Ian. This is the kit we're talking about. So it's the Type 35B. There's the decal sheet.
This is the second issue of the kit, and they've reissued it with bits in it to enable you to build two versions, which are slightly different from the earlier car. So the yellow one, is a Targa Floria car, which might explain why I like it. And that was run by a female lady who drove a lot in period and whose name I cannot pronounce, so I'm not going to try. Elizabeth, we'll call her. Anyway, so but the blue car, the Dreyfus car, that's got different seats. It's got an additional fuel tank in it. It's got no external spare wheels, and all those details are called out, and the instructions document them step by step perfectly. So we know they can do it, and I've seen the Alpha 8C that they do as well over the last few days, and that's very much like this. So I kind of feel like they'd run out of time with the Stratos and needed to come to market. It could probably have gone through another rotation of test build, work out the niggles, change it possibly. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel. But this chassis, that took 20 minutes.
That does look, I envy you, because that just looks like such a fun project to work on.
You got two side rails. So what you do is these two pieces are so positively located in here. You put those two in, put those two to it, glue them and hold them, and then you just feed these bits in. There's a little bit of tidy up still to do on the back here, but to be frank, although if you call me Frank, I'll fall out with you. You can't see it anyway when it's assembled, but it's lovely. So that's compared to I mean, that you can. There's a lovely comparison of size there, isn't there? Look at that. 1930s Formula One and racing car, 1970s racing car. It's a different world. As a comparison, this is a better product, and it's a shame because that car there, Stratos, really deserves this, and it kind of didn't quite get it. There's some lovely touches. I mean, the fire extinguishers, as you can see, and things like that are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The tires and the wheels are spot on. Have I enjoyed it so far? Yes, I have. I'll be very happy to hand it to Mr. Farmer in due course.
I'm just gonna say, be sure to keep copious notes and to feed that back to Andy.
Yeah.
We've got some. So you've already started chucking paint on the bodywork as well.
I have, yeah. So I've got this. This is you know, we were talking just a moment ago about little things. So that's why I had the painting and deco thing on my desk. On the nose of the car, there's a green stripe.
Mm-hmm.
It starts here and runs around the front. That they've got the front light cluster on that, so it interferes with it. But the green strip runs along the top of the nose section and around the other side. And these indentations on either side here, which have got a spotlight, a side light, and an intake grilling, are green. But obviously, it's very difficult to make a decal that fits in there. You're never going to do it. Let's be honest. In fact, let me
What
show
about shape?
that shape. You probably, you could probably do it in about three. If you do it in 3 or 4 parts, it would fit. But Italeri didn't. So the decal sheet's just got the stripe and the outline of this on. All right. Fine. So you paint it. This is Alitalia green. The instructions give you an AK paint match. Hang on. I'm going back to that camera. Just there. AK 11226. It's not even in the same county. It's just fallen off my bench. Hang on. It's this. I don't know why I was showing it to the camera on the laptop when I'm not. It's this colour.
Oh, good grief! That's almost
Well,
dark green, isn't it?
apart from the fact it's actually an ink,
Okay.
not a paint. So it's not even close. What is interesting is that there's two Mr. Colours, and these are they. So this one and this one, which are in the standard Mr. Colour lacquer range,
Mm-hmm.
C64 and C66, and the colour that it should be sits right there, slap bang in the middle of the two. So I'm actually working a mix up at the minute. This is my test piece. That's just had a coat of TS26 on it, gloss white, which is the same as I'm using on the kit, just to give a feel for it. So I've got to darken this one down with a little bit of this, and I think that'll do it. So there's a mix of that for this evening to play with. Once I've sprayed those in, I will be able to start decaling the front section of the body.
The fun part. That's the bit I always look forward to.
It's when they come to life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. There's some again. There's the most beautiful photo etch set in it by a manufacturer I've never heard of, an Italian manufacturer, Model Technica or something like that. Absolutely lovely, really lovely. The grill that fits in here, obviously it has a curve to fit into the nose,
Mm-hmm.
shape, and it's in stainless, it's in steel. So normally you look at that and go, I'm never going to get that anywhere near, but it's so fine and it's so beautifully etched that all I did was roll it over the edge of one of my RP roller, the photo etch roller sets, the biggest one, and just gently impart the curve, and now it just fits absolutely wonderfully. And the engineering on the inside of the nose for it is perfect. There's a little groove, So it pops into the little groove, and then you just clamp it around the edges and it fits. So there are some really inspired touches to it. Yeah, so that's coming. I was talking about the instrument panel a moment ago. This is where I am with the instrument panel. There's some pictures on my Facebook page.
Oh yeah, we've got we do have some pictures. Bear with. There we go. There's one of your images you sent us. I know you know I'm going to say this, Ian. How are you going to secure the glass into those?
Funnily enough, here are the glass.
Ah.
Let's have a play. I'm going to try. I've been using this on some of my glass work. This is UV resin.
I know the stuff.
I found that I can. Let's do the big one. Here's the actual side to the visual. It's going to be a little bit tricky. With that, I've got a pair of tweezers here somewhere. I put them down a moment ago. Where did they go? There they are. So I've already masked these. These glazings are produced come with the kit, and they have a rim around the edge of them. So I've masked them with my HIQ appropriate size discs and painted them gloss black. Because it's clear, I can.
Oh, I love UV resin glue. It's one of my favorite things to use. I'm always looking for excuses to use it, quite frankly.
To be frank, I think I should have put a bit more under there, but that's all I'm going to do.
It's not going to be stress loading. So
no, what I was thinking was it might put a bit of gloss on the back of the dial actually, but I didn't want to put it over the decal. But it has to spread over the decal. So in retrospect, perhaps. Let's have a go. Experiment number 2. Here we go. Let's try this. Put a larger blob in the middle. Risky. You'd have thought I'd have practiced this beforehand, wouldn't you?
We like it live because it can't be faked then.
Experimental modelling live on the Tinterfart. Oh yes, that's better. Yeah. There we go. Ha! I've learnt something. There we go. That's better, isn't it? So that's the answer, I think, for that. This little UV pen's quite cool. I found this one on Amazon, but you can put it on for like 20 seconds, and it'll turn itself off.
Oh, cool.
So it's quite a neat little one, that one. Rather than just leaving it turned on and killing the battery.
Yeah, and it looks like it's USB rechargeable.
It is, USB-C charge on it.
Yeah, brilliant.
It was a whole £4. Oops, that's a good start.
Well, we're going to see how well that glue holds.
It's not come off.
There we go.
There we go. So that's the plan. This is, I've got to do some work with these. There's like a block with 2 circles, 2 like raised circles with the indent molded in it in the kit. And I was like, what on earth is that? And then I found a picture. And actually, when you look at the pictures, there's 2 stopwatches printed here. So I've cut some round discs in white. I've got some instrument bezel circles in chrome that are just the right size, so they're going to go around the outside. I'll make a little doodie, a button for the top of each of them with some plastic or possibly some Albion alloy stock, and glue them on, and then I'll possibly using a very fine marker, one of these kind of things, attempt to draw in just a representation of a clock face, because to be fair, when it's all assembled, it's quite a way into the cockpit area, so it won't necessarily be that noticeable, but I do want it to actually look like the watches are there. I've got a couple of pictures where that whole block just comes off. You can clearly see it's got like some kind of clip to it, There you go. So that's that. You see that
Yeah.
dial there? Look, that's coming up. That's shining nicely, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quite pleased with that.
I'm just gonna do the hellos section of the show. So we're just gonna say hello to Hobby Time. There we go. I was going to say hello to Hobby Time, Kitchen Table Modeler, Paul Voyle, Dougal McWoogle, Dave Swindon. God, Dougal, if you are Scottish, and I keep doing that voice every time you come on, I do apologise. I'll tell you a story at the end of the show about Drew. He's not here tonight. Dave Swindle, Paul Adams, Michael Scott, Damian Mullen, Russell Taylor, Nick Brown, Black Skunk Works, Anne-Marie Ryle Gould, Lee Suter, Rob Suto, who says, "Evening, Sprue Monkeys. Nights are drawing in now. Won't be long before JM is playing the creepy Christmas music." Yep. A Carol Symphony, which was used for the BBC's Box of Delight. Stephen Kessel, Rally Chef's Model Shed, Philip Jones, Mike Williams, Michael Hooverling, Shane Weir, Good Ale, says Shane, Brian Wilton, Phil, Mysterious Phil, Gregory Treachell, he says, hello from just south of Seattle, Washington. Tim Alex Maunder, who certainly isn't in Washington, Peter Oxley, Aaronville, scrolls down.
Sorry, how far south of Seattle, Washington? Are you Tacoma, or are you Olympia, or are you Shelton?
Locks 9, Paul Nags, Simon Lewis, Richard W.L. Here we go. Philip Jones says, question for Ian Hartup. I have just got an example of the Airfix Beach Buggy, vintage classic version. Have you any suggestions for a really good finish for the main body?
Yeah. That is basically a fiberglass body. So a good gel coat fiberglass will give that a good shine. You can use whatever you want. I mean, I've seen them in a number of colors historically, although orange seems to be the one everybody goes for, because obviously that's what, if I remember correctly, that's what's on the box art, isn't it, John?
It is, yeah. That's what I painted mine in.
Yeah, I think a good, well laid down gloss color is always going to give you a good result on something like that. It's all about your prep, and John will attest to this because I've been educating him. But yeah, the LP clears thinned with either the Tamiya retarder thinner or the Mr. Color retarder, Mr. Leveling type thinners will give you a good basis for a clear, a gloss. If you can build that up over a couple of coats if you want, and then put a clear coat over the top. Something like Tamiya LP9 is a good way to go. But yeah, we've both, between myself and John on both our pages on Facebook, there'll be plenty of information about how to get a good finish.
Yep.
But as I say, everything about a gloss finish is your preparation. And if you get your preparation right, you will not fail.
You know what? I absolutely loved. There you go, Ian's. He's got more dials on. That looks fabulous.
I won't tell you that there's one of them on back to front, but there you go.
No, there you go then. Yeah, I got to say, I built that beach buggy kit a couple of years ago. I keep pestering the office for a Bond bug, because I really want to build a Bond bug.
Especially one of the best-selling kits of last year or something, wasn't it, when it came out?
Yeah,
we've been waiting for it for so long, haven't we, to come back? It's such a great little fun kit.
Yeah. Right, shall we dive on in? I've just gone to Amazon, by the way, and I'm looking for your UV pen. What I have ended up with is about 1,000,001 UV pens.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, send me the link. That'll be great. We can share it then. Also, I've just been to have a look. Is when you said Photo Etch rollers, bear with. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Most of my stuff is RP models.
Right. That's why I googled. But right.
Yeah, because he used to come to Telford.
Yep. I know.
And I would always buy stuff from him at Telford. Another one of the traders we've lost from Telford for.
Yes, I remember RP being at Telford, and my debit card remembers RP being at Telford. So, yeah, exactly. Right. The next news item is it's Tamiya, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
We're going to talk about Tamiya's new 2025-26 Honda Prelude kit, where they've got some better preview images now of the thing built up. And as we speculated from the photographs that we saw from Suzuka the other week, can't believe that's a month and a half ago nearly now, it comes with luggage.
Yep.
There's a roller case, a hardback roller case, a set of golf clubs, and a hold all, and a little carry bag in that. That's a nice touch. That.
Yep.
Obviously, being a Prelude, it's a 2-seater coupe. This is nice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice. Funnily enough, I think I've still somewhere got one of those original Preludes that I built up years ago. But they are reissuing that one as well, which is a nice idea. But I've got to say that back end with the strip, the ribbon light that runs point to point, screams Porsche at me.
I was just going to say that looks so Porsche 911, doesn't it? But it also reminds me of the Audi. Is it the Audi TT?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the later ones. Yeah, or the R8.
Yeah. But I sincerely hope. Well, obviously, Mr. Farmer will want something built for Telford. Frankly, Ian, I sincerely hope that I get to build one, because it just looks. It's a testament to Tamiya kits, isn't it? That they can produce something that isn't necessarily your cup of tea, but you say 2 sugars, please, and I'll have a biscuit as well, because it just, want.
It's a nice shape, and I was chatting. Obviously, I work in the motor industry anyway. I was chatting with a friend of mine. I don't think we're 100% guaranteed we're going to get this in the UK. Which, actually, looking at it, is a crying shame.
It's a perfect car for the UK market, really, isn't it?
God, what's Patrick talking about? Renault Laguna.
Yeah, that's what's happened. Right, Mobius.
Yes.
From the United States. Now we've got some news on 2 kits that we have coming out. There is this 1971 Ford F250 custom 4x4.
There's only one thing you can say to that, and it's yeehaw.
I'm just going to say the pine trees and the log cabins, and
you can just sense there's check shirts.
Yes,
My friend will be in Seattle. Will be all over that. She'd want that desperately. Although she wouldn't, actually, because it's not a step side. But that era of Ford, but those go for. I think Mike was saying in a chat the other day, they go for ridiculous money. That's the point. Dave's pointing out there's a gun rack in the back window of that as well.
Oh yes, of course there is.
That's the vehicle. It's the kind of vehicle, and I think I said this during the Suzuka show, that is in the background of the shot chasing Forrest Gump through the countryside, with 2 lads stood in the back holding onto the back rail. It's of its era and time, and that kit with that raised suspension will sell for fun in the States. And to be honest, if it came into the UK in any real volumes, it would probably sell really well over here. What I don't know is if there is actually currently a UK, a proper, I'm going to underline that word, a proper UK Mobius deal importer. Don't think there is. They're part of, I think they're part of round 2. And
Yes, they are.
various people over the years have said they were a round 2 importer, and bits and bobs turn up, and it's a shame because some of the stuff, Mobius stuff, Polar Lights stuff, in particular, is wonderful. I mean, I've built so many of these Mobius kits. That thing builds like the real car. You know, the suspension and all that stuff will be absolutely superb.
Apparently, sorry to interrupt you, Ian. Yeah. Apparently, Mobius they do have an official importer into this country, and it's Amarang.
Sorry, did you say they didn't have an official?
No, they do. I'm just bear with. I'm just going to go to.
They aren't doing a right good job of it, then, are they?
I'm going to share a screen here. And here we go. We're on the Amarang page, Mobius models. And there we go. I didn't know Mobius did the USS Kelvin. There we go. We learned something new every day.
I did, yeah. And I've never seen one in the UK. This is my point. When have you ever seen one? When have you ever seen a Mobius car kit on the shelf in the shop in the UK? If they're imported by Amarang being one of the bigger distributors, because aren't they part of a bit another concern now, because they were Hales originally, weren't they?
They were the big
something else now, aren't they? Because
they were the big Hasegawa import.
Yeah,
Hasegawa and Fujimi.
Yeah, why aren't I seeing them in my model shops that carry Hasegawa and Fujimi? You know, why am I seeing them there?
Oh, I want one of those 1-to-1 scale HAL 9000 kits. Says log
they do a load of Space 9. Have you seen AMT are doing a load of Space 1999?
Yes, they're doing comlocks and stun guns, and they're 1-to-1 scale. And I'm in for them. Not that I'm not that I'd have the temerity / lack of a social life to suddenly want to start dressing up and cosplaying as a member of Moonbase Alpha.
Really? Okay.
The night is young, Ian. So yeah, there we go. Oh no, I do apologise. I thought, goodness me, I thought I brought the screen up with Mobius, and we were still stuck on that image.
There's nothing wrong with that picture.
No. Here we go. There we go. Mobius models, and that's Amarang. Sorry, I thought I'd brought this up. So
interestingly, the one we're going to talk about in a minute's on that. So this is my point. Where are these kits in UK stores? Is it because UK stores won't buy them because they don't know what they are? Or is it because they're not being brought in numbers sufficient to enable many UK stores to carry them?
Well, Amarang are seemingly floating these as being available to, available to the trade.
If you look, there's an F250 custom cub. There's the Ranger with snowplow there. The Novas at the bottom of that screen we're looking at there, and the Nova, they are some of the finest period car kits you can buy at the minute. They're head and shoulders ahead of AMT, MPC, Revell. They're borderline Tamiya quality, and they just do not get represented in British stores. And I don't know if that's because there's a prejudgment of they won't sell. If it is that, then fine. But I just think that possibly put a little bit more effort behind that brand, it could become a big. Because look at the Space 2001 stuff, the Odyssey stuff. You know,
I was suddenly kind of like taken by the fact that they do a Discovery in 1/44th scale, They do clippers in 1/44. They do a 72nd scale clipper, for goodness sake.
I've seen that, and it's absolutely beautiful. The
Yeah.
Discovery in 144 scales, sort of enormous.
Yeah, it's for those of you who've never seen the film. The Discovery model built for the film was in itself, I think it was 65 feet long, which is why when you see it on screen, it honestly looks like Stanley Kubrick went into space and filmed a real spaceship. It's
they did I think they've done the monolith as well. Just the monolith, the base with the monolith. In like these kind of pre-finished resinated things that came around. I'm sure they did that as well. And because there was one in a case in a shop into a model shop I walked into in the States, and you kind of look at something and go, "Wow!" Because it's that iconic image, isn't it? The absolutely black absorbs all the light thing. Just fabulous. But yeah, anyway, we digress. What was the other kit? There we go.
Got the other Mobius release, which is coming out, which is the Pro Touring 1964 Mercury Comet. What a fabulous looking car, Ian.
Coming in a couple of forms, I believe. We've kind of been sneaky here because that is the artwork for the box, and I found it on Facebook on the artists page. With some notes, but that is, if you look at that back to the AMRAAM page, there's a Dodge that's just been announced as well that's on there, but this is the next one along. I love that. That is just so cool. And the last Mercury Comet that was produced last 1964 Mercury Comet that was produced was tooled in 1964. And does occasionally still pop up for obscene amounts of money as an AMT kit. So, yeah, a nice new tool Mercury Comet where someone's thought about it. That's Pro Touring, so that's like a resto mod, hence the wheels and stuff. But if they're going to do other versions of it, apparently there's going to be a couple of road car versions, some other bits and pieces.
We've got some clarification from Russell Taylor. He says Mobius are not part of round 2. Round 2 is based in Michigan. Mobius is in California. Polar Lights is part of round 2. So, thank you, Russell. That's brilliant. But yes,
I'd like to know what Russell's point of view is regarding what I was just saying about availability of Mobius in the UK. But I suspect he might bite his tongue on that one.
I think Russell's in the States, so
am I thinking of the wrong Russell?
Right, shall we? You somehow managed to engineer this, so I had a package turn up here, which was destined for you ultimately, but I was taking some photographs today. All right, Ian, tell them what we got here.
Possibly one of the sexiest Ferraris of recent years. Alpha kits. We've talked about Alpha periodically since we started doing the car shows. It was one of the first brands we spoke about. They are a Chinese-based manufacturer of full resin mid-detail. We call them mid-detail. They're not plain curbside. They're not full detail. They don't come with engines, but they come with enough photo etch and things like that to put them in that middle ground. They are beautifully cast. Packaging is lovely. Instructions, you really do need to study the instructions very, very thoroughly. But the subject matter is corking. I've got AMG black. I've got a kit that enabled me to build the F1 pace car, the safety car. The AMG GT black edition. They did before Tamiya did the 911 GT3. They did the 911 GT3, and the thing sold for fun, even at 150 quid a time, which is kind of the retail for these. They are kind of the pinnacle of what's available in resin. What you possibly refer to as the mainstream resin right now. away from, aside from the likes of Model Factory Hero, who, will set you back an awful lot more money than this. They've just announced a new kit that's 800 quid. So I'm not rushing out to get one of them. These are nice. They've started putting 3D printed bits in them as well, and that's up the game again a little bit. They grew out of a company called Hobby Design. Hobby Design started doing resin upgrades, Photo Etch detail sets, and stuff like that. Did a few full detail kits, and then Alpha's grown out of that, and we've got some lovely product. They're the exhaust tips. I think they are, aren't they? Oh, lost you.
No, I'm back.
No, okay. Are they the exhaust tips on that?
I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'd have been cast in resin previously, or maybe in turned metal, but this 3D printing stuff obviously has come along and it's done that. There's a tiny little bit in between those. I'm looking at it. That is a real invitation to lose that, isn't it? That's going to go ping, ting, ting.
Tiny little thing in the middle there. Then we've got more stuff. Now, this looks like this is traditional cast.
It is, but
process.
It's spun injected. So
as we'll see,
you don't get air bubbles at all.
No, and they are literally on, some of the parts are literally on kind of like injection molded style runners and sprues.
Yeah. The detail that's cast into the instrument panel and things like that is stunning, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I've obviously, when you get the kit, because I'll get it in the post to you tomorrow. I can't wait to. We'll have a part deux of this with your impressions of it in person. But even, somebody like myself who is, not say lukewarm about cars, but I'm not overly versed in them. In terms of just a modeling product, this is absolutely amazing. I was hoping Tim Perry might be watching tonight, because the attention to detail in this kit is what I would call Perry-esque. So I think everybody remembers, what Tim used to do with PP Era parts and PP Era kits. It is that level of no stone left unturned.
Well, if I turn my head 90 degrees to the right, there's a bookcase, and on the top of that bookcase there's a shelf, and right at the back on the far left of that shelf is a PP Era parts Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my point of comparison for any resin that I ever get. It always has been, and it'll never get built, I don't think, now.
Mm-hmm. You get the wheels here with vinyl tires as well. So they do. I think these are different rims, aren't they? Because
there's a couple of wheel styles that you can get with the car.
Yeah, and that's got us an open. Again, the standard of casting is incroyable, as we say on this show. You also get a sheet of fabric material as well, which there is a close-up of the fabric material. And you get, now these are spun resin. They're not injection molded. These are spun resin.
Yeah. Clear. I mean, there's clear resin and there's clear resin.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely the latter. Yeah. And I know Dave going, the undercuts. Yeah, they're unbelievable, Dave. The quality of the casting. Yeah.
Yeah. And what have we got? And now this is, so if you don't like photo etch, tough. Here are some of the photo etch bits and pieces, including some that are on a sticky back film. So all you have to do is peel them off and you're away. So these are stainless steel, but again, the quality of these is quite phenomenal.
So I've talked about these kits before, and I don't think you've actually ever had one in your hand kind of thing to experience. So this is quite interesting, because obviously you've now got this thing in your hand, and you kind of, it doesn't take very long for you to look at it and understand why they are the money they are.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
gosh, yeah.
You know, there's no, oh yeah, it ain't really worth that. The minute you start going through these boxes, you understand why they cost the money they cost.
Yeah. What's the retail for this, Ian?
UK Realtors around the £150 mark. I've seen it for 149.95 today. I've seen it for about 159 as well.
I don't think that's it. It's obviously it's a large chunk of large chunk of money, but in terms of what you get in this kit, I don't think that's excessive.
I love the Italian stripes.
Yeah, and there's two decal sheets there, so I think that's some stuff for the interior. And
the left-hand set's full carbon.
Right.
It's exterior carbon, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. And then you get masks as well.
They're not masks.
Oh, no, they are the windows.
They are the windows, and they are printed and pre-cut. Yep. So they're filmed. There's 2 layers of film with the glazing between them. So you peel the inner layer of film off, fix the glazing in, and then peel the outer layer off, and you're left with the most crystal clear glazing.
And here are the instructions. So there is an overview there on the bits that come in the kit, and there is the 3D printed stuff there on the right towards the bottom, and then the decal sheets, your clear parts, your photo etch bits and pieces. And then we have, as you said, you really got to study these instruction sheets because, well, you've just shelled out 150 quid for something, so you're not going to rush it. So that's later on in the process.
I've just spotted the fact that you assemble the grill from flat pieces of photo etch. I was hoping that might be on the 3D printed bit, but never mind. Okay.
And also, looks like you layer the brake discs as well. So
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty standard with them, to be honest. Some of the 3D printed bits look like they're the vents for the dash as well.
Okay.
Oh my.
Well, like I say, is when I will get this in the post to you tomorrow, and then when you do get it, it will be lovely to have your assessment of it. I love that one with the Italian flag running down the middle. That's just gorgeous, isn't it?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Some very specific race numbers on a couple of those. I'm going to have to dig around and see if I can work out what they are. Whether that's because
is that like a throwback to something?
I'm wondering if it's. It might just be an affectation number, but I'm wondering because the car came out around 2 or 3 years ago, so it might have lined up with the one of Ferrari's anniversaries.
Right.
It's a great car, though. A shooting brake. You know what I mean? There's a very distinct British history of making shooting brakes. Not quite like a 3-door estate sports.
Yeah.
So Aston Martin made a number, Jaguar made a number, and they were always
almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, but a lot of them were coach built as well. You took your standard hatch, your saloon, and you took it to a coach builder, and they made you a shooting brake Vantage or whatever. I've seen a shooting brake XJS, which, yeah, and like Dave Swindell just pointed out, a bit like a Scimitar, that kind of 3-door estate sports car that had a practicality and a ridiculous performance. I remember I've seen pictures somewhere of a Jensen Interceptor shooting brake. That thing had to be seen to be believed. That just stunning looking car. But yeah, there you go.
I will confess, Ian, shooting brake is a term I've never come across. So I've just Googled it. It says, I'm on Wikipedia here at the moment. It says shooting brake, as in BRAKE, alternatively spelt shooting brake, as in holiday, is a car body style which originated in the 1890s from horse-drawn carriage origins. The first automotive shooting brakes were manufactured in the early 1900s in the United Kingdom. The vehicle style became popular in England during the 1920s and 1930s and was produced by vehicle manufacturers as conversions by coach builders. The term was used in Britain interchangeably with a state car from the 1930s, but has not been in general use for many years and has been more or less superseded by the latter term. I'll just read the last paragraph here. Since the 1960s, the term has evolved, describing cars containing elements of both station wagon and coupe body styles, generally a two-door station wagon, with or without reference to the historical usage for shooting parties. During the 1960s and early 1970s, several high-end European manufacturers produced two-door shooting brake versions of their sports cars. Following a hiatus from the mid-1970s until the early 2010s, the shooting brake body style entered a resurgence. Boom,
Yep.
boom, boom. I can see from that description how that fits that Ferrari, because it does look like it looks like an estate version of a sports car, doesn't it?
It's effectively a three-door estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a lot of the reference to shooting parties is interesting. So they were the kind of vehicles where you could kind of drop the lower section of the back down, sit on it while you ate your cucumber sandwiches and counted your pheasant count for the day. It's that kind of vehicle. And
Dave Swindle, that was the car I was trying to think of.
We say earlier. Yeah.
Scimitar. I'm just going to see if I can bring up an image of one. The Reliant Scimitar. Yeah, here we go.
EGTC.
Yeah, just going to share screen. Here we go. Reliant Scimitar. Share screen. Get rid of the graphic. Right. There we go. Reliant Scimitar. Yeah, I can see that similarity there. Used to see a lot of scimitars when I was a kid. Goodness me.
Fiberglass again.
Yeah. Fabulous looking vehicle though. And let's just scroll down that.
Do you know a gentleman named Phil Adams?
No.
He's part of the aerobatic SIG. He's a big scimitar guy. If he was involved in this, or you'd have just seen every post would have been scimitar, because he'd have been. Yeah. They made some. The GTE, that was the one I couldn't remember. The pale blue one on the right side. So just that. Look at that, and look at the profile of the Ferrari, and you can see that shooting brake style that comes over. Bear in mind that's from 1973. That thing.
Yep, I'm just going to bring that graphic back up again. There we go. Yep, it's spot the difference, really, isn't it? It's even the quarter deck window at the back.
Yeah,
is almost identical.
Yeah.
Apart from the round wheel arches and things, there are obviously differences, but oh gosh, what a fabulous looking car! I remember when we lived in Berkshire that we were always coming across scimitars, and just terrific. Look at that Reliant Scimitar GTE. That's almost like a Ford Capri on steroids, isn't it?
I've got it in my head that Airfix might have done one of them in 30 seconds ago, but I might be wrong. But I think that's the only time it's ever been kitted.
Right, bear with.
He's off it. No, just Mr. Fleming pointing out that 74 Squadron had a Rolls-Royce shooting brake. And Rob Suto. I know about Dario Franchetti's car. I've actually seen that, the Wraith. He's got a Wraith shooting brake.
No, apparently Airfix didn't do a Reliant Scimitar. Coming up with bugs, but anyway, go.
I know. Hey ho. So basically, there's never been a kit of the Scimitar.
There should be.
That should
It should be.
indeed.
Fabulous looking vehicle. Right, Ian. Hang about. Let's see if I can hit the. Any other business?
I did a little post about a technique on my Facebook page the other day, on Plastic Wheels page the other day.
Yeah.
I was talking about body prep, final body prep for this,
Right.
which is the 50 Ford that I showed a couple of weeks ago as a work in progress. And a couple of people, I posted about it because I've been doing this for a few years and I never thought anything of it. And a couple of people were like, "Oh, that's clever. I never knew about that." So I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah.
So I got this to a position where it was in grey primer and I was more or less happy with how it looked. What I'd done is I then Trizact my grey primer. I'd used Mr. Surfacer 1500, the Mr. Finishing Surfacer 1500 grey. Now the thing is, sometimes grey primer doesn't show everything you think it shows. But the best thing for showing the damp for any form of issue with is silver. So I gave this a coat of Mr. Colour C8 silver. That's all that is. Applied, thinned quite heavily, so it'll be a lighter coat with just standard thinners. Doesn't need to be leveling or rapid or anything like that. And then gave it a coat all over with the silver. Let it dry, and you will see all the little bits, the little blemishes, the spots, the fine bits of detail, the lines in your sanding, all of that stuff shows up. So as you can see, what I've done here is I'm now going back over it. If there's a pinhole, I've drilled it out a little bit and put a little bit of black super glue. This is black super glue, just this, nothing else. It doesn't need to be mixed with anything. And now I've let it dry for a couple of days. So now I'll go back over and re-sand. And then what I'll do is I'll just repeat. I'll get it sand, I'll put another coat of silver. The thing with the silver is because it's a thinner coat, it doesn't build up like the primer can do, because some of the primers can be quite thick and they'll build up. You might get softening of detail, but it's a very quick way of showing up those little surface imperfections that when you then got your final color coat on will wave big flags at you and go, "Hi." This just gives you a chance to pick them up early, and it's just a little technique, but it would appear that I'm sure I got it from a guy online. There's a very, 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 very good car modeler, American car modeler by the name of Steve Boo, who is, the kind of modeler that makes you go, right, that's it, I'm taking up knitting. Really, really good guy and a phenomenal instructor. I thought I'd picked it up from him, but I went back the other day and had a really good read through all his stuff, and I don't think I did. So, but I remember a conversation on one of his build threads with another person, and I think they advocated for it. So I think that's where I got it from.
To be honest with you, Ian, I seem to remember a modelling article, and it may have been Scale Aircraft Modelling in the 1980s. A chap who was building something there, he said that he primed the model in silver, and I went through a phase of priming my models in silver and kind of thinking this is quite an interesting process. I don't know why I stopped doing it, because yes, you're right, nothing is more unforgiving than silver when it comes to flaws and mold and mold bits and pieces. So and also it tends to be a much smoother finish, so that when you're ready for your final color coat, it's there ready for you.
Well, that's going to be emerald green candy over silver. So I need it to be absolutely cock on. Absolutely 100% when I put the, because I've got a rough gold flake to go on it. So because the rough, when I talk about rough, I mean about flake size. So bigger flake size gold.
Mhm.
Now, what you do is you get to a good finish and you apply the gold flake. Thing is, if you then apply your candy picks up the gold flake, shape the roughness from the finish. So what you actually do is you put a couple of good coats of clear on, polish that back, and then put your candy over the top, and that way you won't be blathering on layer after layer after layer of clear over the green.
So sorry, maybe get that right. So you've got your flake coat,
yeah,
then a couple of coats of clear over the top to effectively seal it and act as a barrier.
Yeah,
and then I'm with you. Yeah,
and that way you get a much more uniform finish to your candy color.
Yeah,
and then you can clear on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of coats of clear polished back, bare metal foil. Seal it again with another couple of clears, polish it back, and by that point you should have the shiniest model known to man.
Right. I'm just going to round off tonight with, I think I said that I went to the IPMS North Somerset model show at the Helicopter Museum today, which was brilliant. There are photographs up on the Interesting Modelling Company Facebook page. I did buy a couple of bits and pieces. I bought one thing, and this was there was a chap there who was getting rid of this, and I could not resist. Exactly. So crash zoom there.
Oh, yeah.
I thought,
would you open my wallet and repeat after me? Help yourself.
So I haven't even opened this yet. So
it's all in there.
Well, it's sealed, and goodness me, that is, I don't know. Right, I think we're going to have to reach for the Swan Morton, and
so that's never been opened by the look of that.
No, it's never been opened. I hate doing this because it's ripped. So.
No, I see. Yeah, I see. So it's like one of these, isn't it?
It's perforated.
It's one of them.
Yeah. So So it's
clever.
It's essentially it's just one of those hexagonal. There we go. One of those hexagonal kind of honeycomb things with some painting clips.
The painting clips. I don't think it comes with the painting clips. I think it's
just
base.
Yeah, base. It's the base. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So AK do the painting clips in a bag for not a lot of money.
Okay. I don't have currently. I don't have one of these. So useful. So for £3, more than useful. Before I've got a couple of other bits of boring housekeeping for you as well. I do want to extend a big shout to my very good friend Faye yesterday. She lives on a campsite, and she let me camp there last night, which was good fun. So we were able to go to Le Pub, and I had a beer, or either beer or two. Actually, I had a couple of. I had a couple of cheddar ales. But I'm just calling up the images here, the boring images. So, come on, Facebook, play ball.
I've just seen Dave's comment.
Go on, let's see what's Fleming saying. The live reveal: John has bought an empty box. Yeah.
Listen, though, they're great. I've got half a dozen of them. I use them all the time. They're one of my always in use things.
Mm-hmm. Paul Voyle, trying to get into my good books. He says, I picked up a copy of Chris Ellis' book of How to Go Plastic Modeling. Yeah, that's, to me, that is, that, yeah, absolutely. And John P. Huston says, cut cardboard boxes into 2 centimeter strips and clamp together. It's free. Well, yeah, now I've got a template. I will do that.
Cat scratch, the cat scratchers. That's what they are, basically.
Yeah,
you get them in the store as well.
Yeah. Right, so let's try that again. Present, share screen. So I was cat sitting for my friend Faye Friday afternoon. So there I am enjoying a good cup of tea and a read of Gardener's World. And then I was bought some Callo veggie cakes. These are delicious. These are absolutely incroyable. I'm sort of glad I didn't meet up with Drew today at the show, because he would have cleared me out of these. And there we are, messing around as always. And there is Batman the cat in my chair. Anyway, there I am, parked up under the awning. That's my run of beans that I got in yesterday. So there we go. We went to the pub last night, so I had some lovely cheddar ales. That's her dog, Dave. Dave is female. There's gender fluidity in animals these days, which is good news. And there we go, cheddar ales, lovely, lovely, lovely. That was the Cheddar Gorge, beautiful stuff. And there's Faye and Dave, and that's Faye getting the fire pit going, and there is the fire pit going, and that's me in my sleeping bag with my lovely beanie hat. That was breakfast. There's me in my beanie hat. And it was a good weekend, I got to say. So it was. Whenever I'm at Faye's dog sitting and cat sitting, because you're in the middle of the countryside, you're surrounded by nature, and I just feel all the stresses go. It's absolutely brilliant. Just very, very quickly, I also had a delivery today. Would you believe, a Blu-ray boxed set? Oh. Hold on to your hats here. This cost me about £115, right? But
oh my word,
that it's not just a Blu-ray set. It is a girt big book. And it is essentially the 15 original films from 1954 until 1975. So that's what's known as the Showa era. Yeah. And it comes with custom artwork. And also these are all in high def. They're all in Japanese and with subtitles. Now, some of these films I only have English dubbed versions. So to actually have them in their proper format, in original Japanese with subs and everything, I cannot wait to start dipping into that. The only fly in the ointment is I need to get the box set of the Heisei series films, which is 1989 to 1995. Then after that, I will need to buy the Millennium series, which is 1999 to 2000. Well, actually, it's 1999 to 2023. So it's a work in progress, Ian. But honestly, I thought this was just going to be a standard box like that. For this to be this girt big book.
Is the book in English or is it in Japanese?
No, the book's in English.
Okay, that's good then.
It is. Well, actually, some of the artwork in this is by a Facebook friend of mine, a very talented actor, a very talented artist called Matt Frank. But this was released by an American company called Criterion, so it's the Criterion Collection. But anyway. So there we go. A 58-year-old man still getting his kicks from a radioactive dinosaur with an attitude problem. So on that note, I will... we did have some comments over the Alpha cars. from Mike Williams. Mike said, my son, that's Ethan, ridiculously talented modeler.
Indeed.
He says, my son got one of the Alpha model Ferrari kits. I was stunned by the quality. And I think it's fair to say that if Mike Williams says he's stunned by quality, we all pay attention because Mike's an experienced modeler. And Miguel Enriquez says, Alpha models are such a great quality kits. I just love them. So might feature on this channel again at some stage. Right.
They have said they might send us some more bits, so we'll see what develops, won't we?
Well, I hope they like the coverage tonight.
Send the link.
And I will put the photographs up on the Facebook page probably tomorrow. I thought we'd let people have a bit of an exclusive live on the show first, but we'll put them up tomorrow.
Cool.
So, big thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. God bless you. Next Sunday will be a regular Sunday service, or an irregular Sunday service, but we'll be back to talking about planes and ships and tanks and all that kind of stuff again. And in the meantime, Ian, I do need to get a wiggle on with my Ford Escort Zaxby, which is here in the paint booth. So,
are we doing the Tamiya event at Jadlin?
I've messaged was it Matt who we were dealing with? I've messaged him to ask if what's going on. If I don't know if I'm contributing anything to that. If you're doing it by yourself, then
I thought my understanding was it was the and me kid. So.
Okay. No, well, it'll give me an opportunity to carry on working on Russ's big Tyrrell.
The Tyrrell, yeah.
So no, we'll wait to see what Matt says tomorrow. So until the next time, goodness me, an hour and 20 minutes tonight, Ian. We had some stuff to talk about. Until the next time, as always, thank you for watching, folks. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you very, very soon. Don't just buy models, build them as well, for goodness sake. See you later. Bye-bye.